saying that while sailing at sea, I sometimes carve things to pass.
Wow, that's an idea. Emerge, right here, right now. Right here. Right now. Albedo! We figured out a way to help Shincho!
Interesting. A story of the 5 kaisen appeared. Stamped seal, huh? Indeed, it is an efficient solution. If we use a stamp, then Xingqiu won't have to struggle with his handwriting anymore. Since Xingqiu's signature has been previously revealed to the readers, but I have another idea.
Yes, that's it, Zhenyu. Your writing has greatly improved today, which means yesterday's intensive training.
My apologies, but I simply can't do it anymore. My hands are so sore that I can't even move.
You just had a 10-minute break.
When it comes to pushing a deadline, there's no one more brutal than...
No wonder Lady Yai would always send the editorial director to handle troublesome author.
Whoa, this is getting scary.
Mr. Hiroyama, we found a solution that might just solve our dilemma. In both Liyue and Inazuma, seals are widely used as the equivalents of a signature. If we use a stamp to leave the author's... Of course, a seal on its own is not enough. So, first, we'll use a personalized seal. We can simply carve one using... In addition, I'll also design a simple but elegant pattern that's easy for Zhenyu to write. That...
Let me think. All right, I think that would work. Not only does it still involve the author's own hand...
So, what you mean to say is, I've been saved from this predicament?
Mr. Hiroyama, it suddenly occurred to me that the reason we gave up on live book signings previously was because it would take too long for the author to sign each book. But if we adopted Calx's proposed method, we might have enough time to do signatures at the live event. And if all the authors signed their books in the same fashion, then Zhenyu's signature wouldn't look out of place.
If you think it's feasible, I would certainly be happy to design signatures for the other authors as well.
Yes, and you may leave carving the stamps to me.
In that case, I shall contact the other 2 authors participating in the new release event.
It is a great honor to use a signature designed by Calx.
My pen name is quite complicated and isn't suitable for signing events. However, if we implement this new format, then it'll be a dream come true for me as well.
Great! Looks like everyone's on forward with.
I'm sorry to have kept you busy for so long, Jinyu. Please, take the next few days. The books that Jinyu already signed can be used as special prizes in future events.
We did it. The event.
Thanks to everyone's efforts.
That's right! We still have some time to burn. Where should we go next?
Traveler, there you are.
Oh, it's Ayaka! And Venti! That's an interesting combo.
I was just going to the festival venue to prepare the Ikebana lesson when I found a strange piece of paper on a flower stand. This bard just happened to be close by at the time. He informed me that you've also found similar papers recently. As such, we came together to find you two. But the paper she found isn't quite the same as the ones we found before. Here's the paper. Please have a look.
All the poems we found before were roughly.
And even though there are only 2 short sentences,
If we take the poem literally, it reads, "Dip this paper in water and see the truth naturally appear." Speaking of which, I have an ancient text at home, specializing in ancient and exotic stories. It mentions a special ink that will show itself when wet and disappear when it's dry.
So, shall we give it a whirl? It just so happens that there...
Wow, look! It's really working! More words have appeared on the paper! Let Paimon see what it said. The story says that after Sumizomi got the collection of poems from Akihito, the plagiarized words in the poem became blue.
You see, Paimon, in the past, when printing was not yet well developed, handwritten text could easily be... To ensure the text lasted longer, they'd either write using a special ink or coat the paper. Such special inks are time-consuming and laborious to predict. However, since Akihito's poetry collection was an important gift to be presented to the shogun, but as for the plagiarized poems, not only would they lack Akihito's seal, but the words would also react differently when exposed to liquid.
Which means Akihito didn't plagiarize his work. He was sad.
yes, it appears that this is the truth that Sumizome's story. Although the story is saddening, I've decided on the sub. Kazuha, Ayaka, would you be...
I would be delighted.
Yes, as would I.
There you go. The next 2 points.
Yes. And now that all 4 stories have all been...
see what it's... The plagiarism...
You see, Paimon, to ensure that such special... However, since Akihito's poetry collection was an important... But as for the plagiarized poems, not only would they lack Akihito's seal, but the words would also react differently when...
Yes, it appears. Although the story is saddening, Kazuha,
I would be delighted...
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
Long ago, Inazuma had 5 legendary poets. People bestowed upon them the title of the 5 kaisen.
One year, the poet Suiko made his way to Tenshukaku and presented the kaisen's work for the shogun's perusal. But a page from the works of Aoi no Okina had been torn out, and Suiko was questioned regarding the matter. Suiko pleaded guilty. He admitted to drinking at the tavern the night before, and vaguely recalled a mysterious figure approaching while he was intoxicated.
That figure was none other than Aoi no Okina himself. This turn of events had begun with an unnamed individual, under whose coercion, Aoi no Okina was forced to take drastic measures to retrieve a page of poetry. He knew nothing of this individual's true intentions. All he knew was that the poem had to do with an old acquaintance, Akihito.
Akihito had once belonged to the 5 kaisen. Each poem he composed, he marked with a scarlet red seal, hence the Aka in his name. Such a distinguished writer was he, and yet one of the poems he had submitted the previous year was found to be plagiarized. Akihito was exiled for his crimes, and only 4 of the 5 kaisen remained.
Sumizome went over Akihito's poems and noticed that the plagiarized poem lacked his seal. She immersed his poetry in a stream nearby, and only on the plagiarized poem did the ink run. Aoi no Okina passed by and witnessed Sumizome's doing, which he then recorded in a poem. Thus transpired the events of Suiko's poetry submission, and this is where the story comes to an end.
Make sure you get in line early to buy your special edition drinks. Yeah. Ever since we completed the story, one of the 5 kaisen is called It's just that... How could this...
Oh!
Huh? Not noticed what?
What he means is that the story of Kuronushi...
Huh?
That's right. The key lies in the poem that Aoi no Okina wrote after... An average person could never understand the scene of a young girl washing Akihito's... Even Aoi no Okina couldn't figure out the meaning behind Sumizome's actions. However, for the perpetrator who framed he was worried that if this poem was seen by the shogun, then the shogun could discover the truth. So in desperation, he threatened Aoi no Okina to make him tear up...
Which means... The one who threatened Aoi no Okina is the same person that framed Akihito! What? Kuronushi?
That's right. Though there are only 4, since the shogun mentioned in the poems is certainly not the one of the 5 kaisen.
Oh, okay.
However, the story of the 5 kaisen has more or less reflected everything that's been happening, which begs the question...
A Kuronushi?
Speaking of which, I wonder if our dear Kazuha...
Oh, right! Kazuha!
Our crowd...